I can never get my hair under control. Like, it's getting too long, the gel's no longer working. How's it going? Tom McKay here of Metal Robot Reviews. Before the video begins, I just want to explain what is happening right now. If you're watching this video, it means that for this particular week when this is uploaded, I did not have a video ready to go. So there was no review for the week of June 5th. And that's because for that week, I was actually preparing to move. And if anybody knows anything about moving, there's a lot of preparation going into it. I didn't have time to write a script, film the review, edit it all together. Like, there was no time for that for this entire week, so I didn't have time to get that together. I did at least have time to film a couple bits of stuff for future reviews, but those were reviews that I already had scripted out. I wasn't bothering with any edits, and even then I only filmed like a few scenes. Everything else is going to be filmed within the next couple days. But nevertheless, I didn't have time to prepare an actual review for this week. I'm done explaining, that's pretty much all it is. But nonetheless, I wanted to give you something this week anyways, so what I decided to do is to put together a compilation of 5 of my personal favorite stories that I covered on A Very Metal Week. So if you don't know what A Very Metal Week is, essentially it's a comedy metal news show. So it's just a regular metal news show with comedy involved and is exclusively on the Metal Robot Facebook page. So if you haven't seen any on here, you've probably seen a couple of highlights uploaded to YouTube already from like more recent episodes, but it's been going on Facebook since mid last year, albeit on a very inconsistent schedule. But now that I'm officially getting settled into new apartments, maybe more episodes will be coming out soon. But nonetheless, I have put together a compilation of 5 of my favorite stories I've covered. These are in no particular order whatsoever, but these are just stories that I thought were either funny or a bit serious, or just overall were fun stories to cover. Like, I look back on those and they had pretty good memories. So hope you enjoyed this video, and if you like what you see from the montage, then definitely check out Metal Robot on Facebook, because again, more episodes of A Very Metal Week will be coming soon. So if you like what you see in this montage and you want to see more, link is in the description for the Facebook page. Head over there, hit the follow button, and you'll be able to see more of those when they come in. But with that said, let's get into the montage. Ticketmaster, the spawn of Satan that even Satan didn't want. You may have heard this week that Ticketmaster quietly changed their refund policy. The refund policy, if you were unaware before, used to say, quote, "Refunds are available if your event is postponed, rescheduled, or canceled." But this week, Ticketmaster quietly changed that to say that only canceled events can warrant a refund. Now, as many people have pointed out, the shock isn't really coming from the fact that Ticketmaster did something like this. Everyone kind of expected them to do something like this at some point in the time of the world, but what's more shocking about this is that Ticketmaster is doing this in the middle of a global pandemic where shows left and right are getting postponed or canceled. And postponement is the main course that many of these musicians go for their shows. And Ticketmaster is basically telling us that if it's postponed, we can't get refunds. That obviously caused a huge uproar of many angry people demanding a refund for their shows, which makes sense. People don't really need tickets for a show that's not happening. What they do need is the money from those tickets so that they can pay the bills that they still have to pay while stuck at home in quarantine. Now, to be fair to Ticketmaster, the Live Nation CEO and Steve Jobs cosplay wannabe Joe Berchtold went on TV to say, quote, "Ticketmaster doesn't sell these tickets and sit on a mountain of cash. Ticketmaster sells tickets and gives the cash over to the venues where the events are held." Joe went on to explain that Ticketmaster has to work with the event venues in order to get refunds, which are closed due to the outbreak, adding, "It's a pretty big process to go through and the volume is so huge." To which I say, great, but that doesn't explain anything. Seriously, if we were to take Jeff Goldblum at his word, basically what he's saying is, we don't have your money, the venues do. And they can't really process the refunds because there's no one there because they're closed. Which I'm inclined to somewhat believe, except apparently there is someone there and they're able to process canceled refunds.
which, if more postponed shows get canceled, which there is still the possibility of happening, then those refunds should go through with no problems whatsoever. Basically, if we're to take Joe at his word, there's only one person at every single venue on planet Earth that can refund cancellations. Postponements and reschedulings? Nah, that's Fred and Jim Slim's department. They only know how to do that. I don't know how to do that. It's the exact same process, but I might hit the wrong button. That makes total sense. Makes absolutely all the sense. Now, obviously, it's not that complicated. Refunds are refunds, regardless of the context in which they occur, which means we basically have two possible situations. Either A, Chris Brown is owning every single venue on planet Earth, which explains why his band can still get traction, but also B, Ticketmaster is lying to us. Now, given the fact that Chris Brown has barely grasped the concept of reality, and Ticketmaster has a long history of lobbying Congress and gritty tendencies that can border on the lines of illegal, I think it's safe to say that your pervy English teacher from high school is lying to you. Flaw, aka Dumb and Dumber, because this entire couple weeks can be summed up like Dumb and Dumber. The nu metal band has been in hot water for the past couple weeks, with most of their songs from their most upcoming album being exposed for being carbon copies of music from metal YouTubers. The first one to come forward thus far is Douglas Patrick. He is the guy responsible for the Korn-style nu metal, rap metal, beat instrumental series. And he has filed a lawsuit for the carbon copy of 2 of his songs, of his episodes, specifically 14 and 22, which became these songs here. And after that, a couple more YouTubers came out saying, hey, these songs were also straight rips from us as well. These guys have no originality. What do you know? Now, the lead singer of Flaw has thus far denied any kind of plagiarism on his part, and has said that he is going to be dealing with the member of the band who has committed this heinous crime. And this will be done in private, so we might not know who the member is, except we definitely do, because that member accidentally outed himself. Tommy Gibbons made a post on Facebook, just so happy that someone is covering a riff that he wrote. Are you stupid? We know you didn't write that. You just outed yourself. Are you What kind of level of idiocy are we dealing with here? This is the kind of like preschool SpongeBob idiocy that we're dealing with here. I love SpongeBob, but still, come on! What is wrong with you? Now, in case Tommy gets smart and takes down the post, Metal Sucks have provided a screenshot of the original post so that we can all laugh at it here. And in case it does get taken down, we have the screenshot here, as well as on in the article that they provided, which is linked above, along with all the other articles that we took sources from for this video, linked above. So make sure you check them out after this to dig further deeper into all the stories that we talked about today. Finally, we move on to the Real Housewives. Now, hold on. Do not click away just yet, okay? I promise there is a point to this story. Do not click away from this. Now, the Real Housewives star Candice Dillard was on a show called Watch What Happens Live. And while she was there, she was wearing a shirt that was sporting the album art for And Justice for All. Specifically, this one, if you can see it. Now, when she was on there, she was, normally when stars like this, they go on TV wearing shirts like that, pictures are taken, and they go on the internet later, and that's, after the show is normally when the criticism comes in. You never really see the criticism or even calling out of a star happen during the event, during the show. Except when it does.
Can she name 3 Metallica songs?
3 what?
It's the name of the band on your shirt.
So I can't do that.
Can you name one?
Just live with it.
Can you name one?
If you give me like the tune to the first, I could sing it to you if I knew the tune.
No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, that's not. I was ready.
That's
Yes.
funny. You just like the shirt.
I mean, it's a great shirt.
Yes.
Like, look at
Called out on live television. Oh, that sucks for her, but it's so funny watching the reactions to this. Now look, whether or not you think this is a bad thing of, celebrities who don't know who these bands are wearing their merch, I do think it's a bad thing, but at the same time, I feel like we could probably take advantage of that situation, given the fact that they are big names, they have big audiences, and when they're wearing t-shirts of bands who could use recognition, they do bring recognition to those bands. And given the fact that she's wearing a Metallica shirt and they clearly need it, this is a pretty good place to go. My God. But while we're at it, we should probably tell Post Malone to wear an Ozzy Osbourne shirt everywhere it goes, just because apparently, according to the internet, he's going places, guys. I think he's going places. Just saying. Sex. Yeah. So much for boosting this video. Hope you enjoyed this one. So if you haven't guessed already, this doesn't really have anything to do with any particular stories of metalheads putting ranch dressing in the Hidden Valley and having it go horribly wrong, but this more has to do with a recent study that came out in regards to car behaviors and music genres, hoping to find a connection between the styles of music people listen to and their driving habits. And while the whole study is great and deserves a read of its own, the one that I'm sure you've heard quite a bit about on metal sites is that metalheads are more likely to have sex in the car. Not even kidding. At least 75% of the metalheads surveyed have partaken in the boinking in vehicular objects. Now, the survey talked to just roughly 1,000 people, and it relied predominantly on self-reporting, so a lot of this can be taken with a grain of salt, but still, even then, are you really surprised by this? Let's face it, if anything was going to be correlating to heavy metal music and having anything done in the car, sex was going to be one of them. Either way, the study has a lot more interesting stuff in it, so if you're interested at all, the link is in the description of this video for you to check out. Dragonforce, who were set to bring on YouTuber Stevie T as a touring bassist. Odd to bring a guitar player onto your tour as a bass player, but whatever. And everything was set up ready to go. Unfortunately, though, Stevie had to relinquish his position, citing reasons of anxiety and panic attacks. Something that he has explained in the past is one of his main reasons for not playing live or playing in any touring whatsoever. He actually went into further detail in his recent video.
I knew that I was going to have some kind of mental breakdown sometime before or during the tour, and I didn't want that to happen, so I had to call off the tour. It's not one of my proudest moments, allowing myself to succumb to my anxieties again. I felt like a huge asshole to Dragonforce after completely agreeing to do this. Like, oh yeah, Dragonforce, I would love to tour with you. And then weeks later being like, oh, sorry. Oh, by the way, guys, I have crippling anxiety, so I'm not going to be able to do it. I apologize so much for anyone who bought a ticket to come out to see Dragonforce with me. I can't say sorry enough.
Steve went on to say that there is no bad blood between him and Dragonforce. In fact, they were actually a bit more sympathetic to the situation than many of us would actually expect. They genuinely are good guys in that regard. Other than that, the band is still set to continue their US and Canada tour, and if you want to find out the tour dates, if they're coming to your city, or just get tickets, links for that are right above.
Once again, A Very Metal Week is exclusively on Facebook, aside from the couple highlights I do upload to YouTube. So if you want to see more of Very Metal Week, head to the link in the description to find my Facebook page and go hit the follow button. It's totally free. All you really need is a Facebook account. But even then, I think you can still watch the video without one if you don't have one. Nonetheless, it's all there. Link is in the description to the page, and videos will be coming out there very soon. So with that said, again, that's the end of this video. If you like what you saw, hit the like button. We've got more reviews coming out this month. And if you're new here, hit the subscribe button. Again, more reviews coming out. So ring the bell, and I'll see you in the mosh pit next time. Have a good night.